In the latest video, we're tuning in to see a steadfast Trump supporter fall apart on live British radio. She entered the debate armed to endorse Trump and echo Kremlin narratives. But what unfolded? She faced genuine questions and crumbled like a deck chair in a storm. Let's dissect the situation.
I've got to turn now to, as promised, to Dr. Jan Halper-Hayes, former global vice president of Republicans overseas, as an advisor to Donald Trump's 2017 transition team. Dr. Halper-Hayes, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Do you understand why so many in this country and in Europe more generally would have seen what happened in the Oval Office as an attempt to humiliate President Zelensky and be repulsed by it?
Well, if they watched all 53 minutes, then I don't think they would have that feeling. If they saw clips of it, which of course will be clips of J.D. Vance and Trump being very angry with Zelensky, then of course they would come to that.
Could you imagine President Trump speaking to, say, President Putin in that way? And isn't it precisely the point that he wouldn't, that is part of the problem?
Well, if President Putin pushed him the way Zelensky pushed Trump,
what did
bet.
Zelensky do? What did he do that was so egregious in your view?
Well, one is that he started litigating the 2014. He said, I don't want a ceasefire.
He said he wants peace repeatedly. He just doesn't want it on Russia's terms, which you'll understand because Russia invaded his country.
But he said, I don't want a ceasefire. He made that comment to Trump.
He said he doesn't want a ceasefire if he knows that Putin is just going to renege on it a couple of months later, which is fair enough, isn't it? Because he's done that repeatedly, you will accept.
Exactly.
No, not exactly. I mean, the point is that, of course, anyone wants a ceasefire, but there's no point having a ceasefire, is there? Which is what Zelensky was saying to Trump, if Putin is just going to renege on it shortly afterwards.
And Trump was saying, how do you really know? I mean, if you're really coming from that position, that no one can guarantee anything. But if you don't move forward to get something into an agreement and then be able to put the right security.
But what has Putin said that gives you or President Trump any indication at all that he even wants a ceasefire? Putin has said he doesn't want a ceasefire at this point.
Putin is... Look, I'm not here to have an argument because you clearly have a position that I don't agree with.
What would that be? What would that position be?
Well,
I mean, we would both agree, wouldn't we, for a start, that Putin started the war?
Yeah, what I would say is that Putin legally violated international law. Morally, he thought he was right, and strategically...
But you would agree that morally he was wrong?
I know I would not agree morally is wrong. I would agree legally he was wrong.
You would agree, you would not think that a man who literally, as we speak, still sends drone attacks to kill Ukrainian civilians is morally wrong?
Oh, and you think that Ukraine isn't doing anything to the Russians?
Ukraine didn't invade Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine. You wouldn't agree that was morally wrong?
Okay, all right.
What you're witnessing is the result of someone without a firm grounding attempting to sidestep the truth. She couldn't even acknowledge that targeting civilians with bombs is wrong. This is not a debate. It's a blatant display of denial.
Okay, all right. You know what? That is 3 years ago.
Right. So if we were sat in 1942, would you have been on the radio going, "Look, don't worry about it. Hitler invaded Poland 3 years ago"?
You know what? I didn't sign on for this hypothetical discussion.
It's not hypothetical. I'm just trying to tease out the logic of what you're saying, Dr. Halper-Hayes.
One is that James Baker and Thatcher and Mitterrand and Kohl, etc., had promised that NATO would not move 1 inch eastward, and that was violated.
Those
so
countries.
You want to look at all the different people that violated their agreement?
When did America start basically just sort of representing what Moscow thinks. Those countries wanted to be part of the NATO club. Your club. Are you saying that they should never have been allowed to exercise their democratic and sovereign rights as nations and join that club?
Oh, God. You know what? I don't like having my words twisted. No, I really don't.
You don't like... Well, but that's the point of an interview, isn't it, is to discuss what you're saying. And I'm just asking you... You're saying... With respect, Doctor, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. You're saying that those countries should never have been allowed to join NATO, and then we wouldn't have been in this situation. And I'm saying to you that surely those countries should have been allowed...
No, I didn't say that. Well, see, that's why... No, hold on a minute.
But you cited what happened in the... so you're saying that it's fine for them to join NATO, then?
I didn't say any of those things, and I don't like when someone tries to give words and interpret without understanding. I'm done. Okay. I'm off. I don't like you.
Okay. Well, that's fine, Dr. Halper Hayes. Maybe some of the listeners won't like you, but that's fine. I'm entirely indifferent to that. I'm very grateful for your time. Dr. Jan Halper Hayes there, former Global Vice President of Republicans overseas. Apparently I'm not going to be on her Christmas card list. Maybe I will be with Oliver in Harlesden, though. Oliver.
Wow. Fair play to Lewis Goodall. Honestly, credit where it's due. That was wildly entertaining. What is it with these diehard Trump fanatics? These MAGA types keep parroting Kremlin lines, and the moment they're challenged, just a little, they start crying victim and completely fall apart. It's honestly painful to watch. Every single question Lewis threw at her had her stumbling. You could see she wasn't ready for any kind of real discussion. Just total incoherence. She couldn't hold her ground, not even once. Madness, really. And this is the kind of journalism we need more of. I'm genuinely proud of Lewis. For context, this happened on LBC, a well-known UK radio station with a big audience. I tune into a few of their voices from time to time, and honestly, this kind of firm interviewing is what we need to normalize. And let me be real, us journalists could really learn something from this. We see so many American interviews where people spreading this kind of nonsense aren't really challenged. But the way Lewis handled this, direct, focused, and firm, these folks spewing pro-Russia rhetoric crumble fast under real questioning, and that's exactly what we saw here. The second she couldn't hide behind talking points, her whole argument collapsed. And don't even get me started on the NATO moving east line. Classic Russian narrative. As someone from the West, I value democracy, I value a nation's right to self-determination. Russia doesn't get to dictate who joins what. That's not how it works. But sadly, these are strange times. We've got people who've sold themselves out to Trump showing up on platforms like LBC thinking they can bluff their way through, and they can't. They're used to cushy US media appearances where they say whatever they want with barely a nudge in return. But put them in front of someone like Lewis Goodall? The mask slips fast. What's missing in America is this kind of tough journalism. Too many are afraid to push hard, and we're worse off for it. But hey, I want to hear from you. What did you think of that train wreck of an interview? Did you enjoy watching it fall apart like I did? Let me know your thoughts below. And if this is your first time here and you're into sharp, honest political takes from someone watching US politics from across the pond, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you on board. If you found this video worthwhile, drop a like, leave a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.